Hefty, hefty, hefty. Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy.
So welcome back to LMS Builds. This is the second episode of the Purple People Eater build that Travis so wondrously coined. Today we're going to be working on making this thing stop. Last time we made it go, and we need to get rid of the rusty junkyard stuff if we're actually going to drive this thing.
Yeah, the brakes on this thing probably haven't stopped this car from speed since Clinton was in office. So it's probably a good idea for our safety and everyone else on the road to make sure that we can stop.
Yeah, brakes are not something you mess around with. It's fun to, put a junkyard turbo on something, things like that, but we don't mess around when it comes to brakes.
Safety critical parts are safety critical for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. Also, tires, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did we get to that in this episode?
We'll see.
Okay, yeah, tires are kind of expensive. We'll see what happens.
And the other nice thing is we're going to take some parts from the Ford parts bin and actually upgrade stuff. So we're not just putting replacement stock stuff on there. We're going to show you how to actually upgrade the brakes on your Lincoln Mark VIII if you have one. You probably don't, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think that one day we'd like this car to actually be fast, and the stock stuff's just not up to what we want to do if we ever get there.
Well, if we're going to get there, we better get to work.
Yeah.
That's a whole bunch of parts you got there, bud.
Yeah. It takes a lot of parts to stop something that big. So luckily, Ford was pretty good about parts interchangeability in the 90s. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to do a significant brake upgrade on this vehicle using Mustang parts, actually. Now, the hardest part of upgrading to Mustang brakes is the fact that the Mark VIII has a 5x108 bolt pattern on the wheels, and the Mustang is 5x114.3.
That's Ford for you.
Yeah, it is what it is. So these are actually the magic pieces. We have a friend who's making his 2001 Mustang Cobra actually fast, not pretend fast like us. And he had to upgrade his rear hubs. Now, these are the rear hubs off of the independent rear suspension on a 2001 Mustang Cobra. We need these to make the rear Cobra rotors work on the Mark VIII. I'm led to believe by the interwebs, I don't know this for sure, that only 99 and 2001 Mustang Cobra hubs will make this happen. I guess maybe you could do something fancy like re-drill the Mark VIII hubs or something like that. But we had access to these and we got them for free. Free's good, so we're going to try and use them. He also is upgrading his brakes, so we got free front calipers for an 01 Mustang Cobra. One says Cobra, one doesn't, leading me to believe that one was replaced or exploded, or we don't really know what happened. Looks kind of ghetto, but it was free, right?
And it really fits the aesthetic.
Anything's better than what's on there, let's be honest right now. Then we got brand new rotors. You could try and turn some cheap ones off of Facebook, but we don't recommend that. This is safety related stuff. We recommend new rotors and new pads when you're doing this kind of thing. So we got these nice centric rotors. They're 13 inches in the front. They're 11.65 inches in the rear. We got some EDC yellow pads. These are much better than like your stock replacement organic compounds. They should help the braking capability a lot. We've got these Detroit axle front hubs. So like the rear, we had to get a new front hub with the Mustang bolt pattern to make the rotors work, to make these Cobra rotors work. I've seen some people on the internet who have re-drilled these to a Mark VIII bolt pattern size, but that's kind of a pain in the butt. If you want to replace rotors, you got to re-drill them every time. Doesn't really make sense, and we don't have the kind of cash to do full floating fancy aluminum hub rotors. So we got these. They were really cheap. They come with a different bolt pattern, so they should work. The other key to this setup is in the rear. You can't use Mustang Cobra rear calipers on this like you can in the front. So there's a company called Super Coops Unlimited, and they make these fancy little billet adapter plates that will allow us to use the Mark VIII rear caliper with the Cobra rear rotor. Supposedly, you bolt these on and it all works together and you can use Mark VIII pads. We're going to find out. Let you guys know. This is by far the fanciest thing that we're putting on this car. We have something billet on a turd. Alright, so we got a lot of work to do. This is going to be an interesting episode. Let's get stopped. Alright, so we're going to start in the front because we both worked a long day at work. We actually do have jobs, if you can believe it. And we're tired and the front looks easier. Don't know. We're going to find out. So here we go.
If your brakes look like this, stop driving your car immediately. More than likely, it means that the car's been sitting for 20 years. I think the anchor on the Titanic isn't as rusty as these things, so hopefully they don't fight us too much.
They're going to.
What? This isn't supposed to come apart like this. Hammer! I need a big hammer.
El Hammerino. Hammer time. It's hammer time.
Yahtzee!
For those of you who don't live in the Midwest, this is the Midwest. All right, so I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this because we got this car out of the junkyard, so we don't care. So have a little fun. We made our run to the parts store. We got the correct 36 millimeter socket, so we actually did that right. You should probably use a breaker bar or something like that on this. I don't know. There's probably some special way to do it, but we're going to impact it off because that's what we want to do. Okay, so that thing was on there. Wow. I think that was the right way to do it because I don't know how you do that by hand. Alright, cool. I'm not going to touch that because it's probably really hot. Does this just... Oh! Look at the quality. That bearing is in absolutely pristine condition. We haven't actually told you guys yet. This car only has 61,000 original miles, believe it or not. So it's funny, everything's rusty, and then you get something that was closed up and it looks like it was just put on there. It's interesting. Alright, cool. So we've got our new, shiny, fancy hub with Mustang bolt pattern. Looks a little different. Looks like a little beefier, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah. I hope that's the right ABS string. Don't care.
Who needs ABS?
Whatever. I think it's good.
ABS is for wimps.
Are we supposed to grease this or something?
No, it should just kind of go on there. Except it doesn't just go on there because it's probably the wrong hub size.
Yeah, well, they said on the internet. The internet's never wrong, right?
Never.
Oh, God. That's not good. Now my bearing's exposed. Awesome.
So,
Why does that seem like a really shitty bearing? Probably is a really shitty bearing. Isn't it? The other one's like sealed. It has like a sealed bearing. Why is this so shitty? I'm gonna bend this. We bought cheap parts, didn't we?
yeah, we bought very cheap parts.
Yeah.
In fact, I think those were the cheapest ones we could find.
Yeah.
Well,
The question is, do I just stick it on there and start knocking it like gently?
hold on. Let's measure the OD. That's the right way to do it. Well, let's measure the OD on this and this.
I think this thing's got way nicer bearings in it.
Koyo versus
Nothing.
nothing, no name,
Yeah.
direct from China.
Yeah, we're probably making a giant mistake.
Especially when we tell you eventually how fast you want this thing to go.
Yeah.
Let's measure it. That's the right way to do
We
it.
could always press the bearings
We
out.
could technically press the bearings out. Let's just measure it real quick and see if we're even in the right
Wheelhouse.
wheelhouse here.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't think that should be an interference fit though.
I mean, there was some goo on it. I gotta bend that thing, man. That thing is like, nah.
No, that's just the shield. I'm in on the bearing now. So
Cover that thing back up. Get the rubber mount. Get the rubber mount.
well, if we do that, we may never get it off again.
Well, I mean,
Oh, that's right. We don't care.
You know,
Yeah, it's going. There we go.
you didn't break it.
Yeah, it still seems good. The reluctor ring lines up right.
Oh, we're getting lucky here with some cheap parts.
We should probably look up what the torque spec is on that because it's not just tight.
Yeah. You Google it. I'll start thinking. Okay, so we gotta get this thing on there. It is a one-time use nut, so it's got these dimpled sides that sort of lock it on there so it doesn't come off from vibration. It's got to be torqued to 221 foot-pounds once we actually get it snugged up there. Don't just try to impact this on. This is a safety item. If this came off at speed, that would be a very, very, very bad day.
And as someone who has lost a wheel at speed, it is a very, very bad day.
It's just because you drive a GM.
Don't trust 10 bolts.
Okay, so we did the right thing and we looked up the torque spec on the internet because the internet's never wrong, remember? No, seriously, this is a safety item. You shouldn't mess around with this. You should definitely look up what the manufacturer torque specification is. This one is 221 foot-pounds. Got it?
We'll see. It is 220 foot-pounds.
Click. Cool. And that's how you're safe. What time is it?
Sexy road time!
Majesty.
Alright, so we've got the caliper attached to the bracket. These PBR calipers are a pretty interesting design. So how it works is you put the pads into the caliper first, the bracket will slide over top of it, and then there's this little retaining pin right here that you push through and mount with a little E-clip. So from here, we're just going to take these, slide them over the rotor here. So EBC puts this break-in compound on the top of their brakes, and it makes it a little difficult sometimes to get it over the rotor when it's fresh. So did you not push the pistons in all the way?
I think I did.
I don't think you did.
You can try it. See
no,
if
those pistons are not pushed in all the way.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to tap back in our little dust cover. Let's see how this side fits.
That's the side that I put together.
Right on.
You serious?
Yep.
He didn't do as good a job as I did. Now, I'm absolutely sure that there's some proper torque spec with this, but I'm just going to go with tight. Click! Alright, so we hit a little bit of a snag on the passenger side brake line. The hole is offset in the end of the line. We got to figure out what we want to do with it, but it's getting pretty late, and I think we're just going to throw the wheels on it so we can kind of see what it looks like. Alright guys, well, we've just about got the front brakes done, except for one little snag with the line here. We got to figure out what we want to do with it, but it's getting pretty late here, and you know, Dwayne, beer me.
It's beer time.
Yeah.
So, I think it looks pretty good.
I think it kind of looks like the LSC probably should have been. A little bit more aggressive wheel on it than kind of the grandpa look that these things were going for. You know, it's going to be a nice upgrade. Tomorrow,
Get the rears done.
get the rears done.
Get on the ground.
Get on the ground.
Burnouts.
Burnouts? I like burnouts.
I mean, the whole point of doing the brakes is to get it to drive.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, technically we don't need rear brakes to do burnouts. We could just bolt them on. But that's skipping ahead. We're going to try to do things right. So,
I'll see you guys in the morning.
We'll see you guys in the morning.
All right, it's a new day. We're getting pretty tired. We were a little worn out yesterday. We were a little grumpy. So it's a new day, new morning. We just ripped some sick burnouts.
Which is, it rejuvenates the soul. If you're ever just feeling down, go find yourself a nice, safe place to do it and take a couple thousand miles off your tires.
Yeah, I feel 5 years younger. Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. Yeah, so, all right, what are we doing today, Travis?
We're going to tear in the rear brakes here. So to convert these, we got to pull the hubs, we have to pull the knuckle. It's a little bit more involved than it was on the front, but we're going to try to take you along step by step so you can do it yourself if you really wanted to. All right, let's get to work.
All right.
So when you beat on a shaft like this, anything that has exposed threads, your best bet is always to take the old nut that you're going to use and get it on there, a couple threads, but not enough so you can hit the end of it. That way you don't damage the threads. That came apart way easier than I thought it was going to.
All right, so The reason why we had to take this off and we couldn't just replace the hub like we could on the front with a bolt is this hub is pressed in because the drive axle actually goes into here. So we have to use the press and press this old one out and press the new one in. So I'll show that to you guys in a minute. So we got our new hub pressed in. It's got the Mustang bolt pattern. So we're gonna get ready to throw this thing back in there and see if it works. All right.
Alright guys, Dwayne's going to blast apart the other side, and I'm going to try to get the brake because we actually have that friend Harrison that gave us the wheels. He's having a party at his place. We're going to try to make it there. Alright, so we've got the rears back together. Turns out we need a special tool to push the piston back in for these with the integrated parking brake. So now I'm going to go ahead and toss the wheel up here and bolt it on. Well, that's the rear brakes installed on this side, button it up on the other side, and we just have to modify the hose up front and we should be done with the brakes, finally. Alright, so the right thing to do would probably be to find a different line. We're not going to do that. We're just going to try to make what we have work. We don't recommend this. This is just to get it on the ground so we can run and drive. We're going to change the line later. You know, it is a safety critical part and rubber hoses are about 20 years old. So now Dwayne's going to grind it and I'm going to hold and squint and try to protect my eyes.
This is the side to grind on?
Yeah. Needs to come down about, yeah. Alright, now we're on to actually bleeding the brakes. A little bit of clear hose and a old water bottle is the way I like to do it. So Dwayne's going to be in there pumping. I'm going to open it and, you know, kind of the last step here before we throw wheels on it. Alright, pump.
Fluid's coming out somewhere. Coming out of the other side.
Pump. Yeah, hold on, something's leaking. It might just be crud or goop that's keeping that from. It's just not sitting flush or something.
Here, I'll put it down.
Alright.
Okay. Just see if it's puking now.
No, not puking anymore.
Look, you hear that? Go back over and look. No, the other side.
Okay, go.
Anything?
No, it's puking again.
It is?
Yeah. Alright, we're done. Fighting us.
Is it puking on that side?
that's new brake fluid or old brake fluid. I can't tell if it's dry or wet. I don't know. Yeah, we're done. Yeah, we're done.
With any project, some days you're the dog, and some days you're the hydrant. Today, we were the hydrant. It's funny, all the things we thought that would fight us, the rear suspension bolts, pressing in and out the rear hubs, those were a piece of cake. And all the stuff that should have been fairly straightforward, like mounting our calipers, and that leaky front brake hose, fought us every step of the way. Sometimes when you're getting frustrated with a project, it's best just to stop and pick it up later. Now, we've ordered the right brake lines to get everything working. So we promise you, on the next episode of LMS Builds, you're going to see this car running, driving, and of course, you're going to get glorious Lincoln Mark VIII burnouts. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, get smart, go fast.